11 is review from quadratics. So I'm hoping you guys have an idea how to do that one. So let's continue with number 9, and this will be our last one. So it says, what's the volume in cubic feet? Okay, well, we can see that this tank is a rectangular prism. So we know from experience that what? The volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. So the length of this guy is 120, the width of this guy is 60, and the height is 8. So we just need to multiply those together. 120 times 60 times 8. And that's going to give us the volume of that. Go ahead and punch that in. Let's see what you get. You should be getting 5,760 cubic feet of water. That's how big that tank is. Okay, now they want us to convert it to gallons. So we're just going to use this conversion factor that they gave us. So down here, I'm going to say 5,760 cubic feet, and I'm going to multiply this by the conversion factor. We did this year in class. You guys know how to do this. So do you remember what goes on? Remember, this is over 1. What's going to go on the top or the bottom when we multiply by this conversion factor, right? We want gallons to be our final units. So I want cubic feet to cancel out. Since cubic feet is on top over here, I want to put it on the bottom over here when we multiply by the conversion factor. That way the units will cancel out, and then I can just write 1 gallon here. So simple multiplication, and you guys have calculators, right? So grab your calculator and let's do 5,760. We're going to multiply straight across and then divide times 1. Well, we know that anything times 1 is itself, and then we just need to divide by this. So 5,760 times 1 is itself, and then let's divide by 0.134. All right, so not quite. So you guys should be getting 42,985. Did I forget a 0? Let me double check my work real quick, you guys, and just make sure that I did everything right before I keep going. 120 times 60 times 8. Oh, it's 57,600, isn't it? Is that what it is? Put it in the chat, guys. Let me know. Is that what it is? It's supposed to be 57,600, right? I think when I yep. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm really sorry. Yeah, so when I multiply, thank you. Thank you, guys. I apologize. When I put it in my calculator, my button's kind of sticky, so I don't think it works. So sorry. So it's going to be, there's an extra 0 in there. So let me cross that out. I think we're good now. 57,600 should be what that is, right? Let me change that right here. All right, I think we're good now, right? We're all good, but we're still doing it the same way. So we're going to do 57,600 multiply across times 1. Well, that's still itself. And then we're going to divide it by 0.134. All right, cool. That's much better. Ooh, much bigger number too. So that's going to give us, looks like 429,850.7 gallons. That's how many gallons are in that tank. Notice how feet cubed cancel out and you're left with gallons. And that's how you convert that. That's what you're doing, all right? Now let's answer this last question. It's actually, see, it's really not that bad, right? This is all stuff that we've done before, and now you guys are just putting it to use, all right? Good job. So it says the tank should never be less than 90% filled, so the filtering system works properly. So they're basically saying if the water gets less than 90% full, this is full, right? That's what we just calculated. 429,850 gallons is a full tank. They're saying it can't get less than 90% filled, because if it does, then the filtering system doesn't work anymore. So it's important to know what that level should be at, right? Because if it gets lower than that, the poor fish are going to die, right? We don't want the fish to die. We like the fish. All right. So it says, what is the minimum number of gallons needed to keep in the filtering system? So we just need to figure out this is actually pretty easy, right? Aren't we just figuring out what is 90% of that number, right? That's all we're figuring out. What is 90% of that number? Well, change 90% into a decimal, right? which is if I just move the decimal back twice, right? So it's 0.90, right, as a decimal. Of means multiply. So if you're ever finding a percentage of a number, just take the percentage and multiply it by the number. But you got to change it to a decimal, right? So 0.90 of means multiply. So I need to find 90% of, which means multiply, 429,850.7. That's what we need to figure out, right? So just punch that in your calculator. 429,850.7 times 0.9. And I got 386,865.6 gallons cubed, right? Gallons actually implies volume, so you're not really going to see people say like gallons cubed, because gallons implies volume, right? The gallons is not 1 or 2 dimensional. Gallons is implied that it's 3 dimensional. So you don't need to really cube gallons because it's already volume. And hopefully that makes sense. So that's what the water, how much water needs to be in the tank for the filtering system to work properly. If it goes below that amount, then it doesn't work properly and the fish die. And we don't want the fish to die, right? We like the fish. We want to keep our fish. Okay, guys, number 10 is a very similar type of question like we just did. Very similar. The only thing different is you can see it's a cylinder, not a rectangular prism, right? But you're doing the same exact type of process. So hopefully you guys can do that on your own. Number 11, it says find the maximum height of a springboard diver whose path is modeled by, this is a quadratic, right? Where T is the time in seconds and H of T is height in meters. So if it's telling you to find the maximum height of the diver, then we're finding the, hopefully you just yelled out loud wherever you are, vertex, because you guys are so excited, right? And then remember to find the vertex in, this is standard form, right? X equals negative b over 2a. That'll give you the x coordinate of the vertex. And then once you have the x coordinate of the vertex, how do we find the y coordinate? I think everyone's just yelled simultaneously, plug it back in, right? And then what you'll have is the coordinates of that vertex, and then you can answer that question. And it says find the max height. So the height is not the x value, that's the time. The height is going to be this value right here. That's what you're going to want to find. Okay? You can answer the exit question down there. We basically just spent 30 minutes covering all that, so I'm hoping that you guys